Welcome. This is another midweek meditation. This week we're doing a special, slightly longer practice time to focus on gratitude and see how appreciating the good in our lives actually cultivates joy, brings up a sense of joy and satisfaction. So gratitude is kind of a cousin to generosity, and generosity is the very first of what are called the paramis in Buddhism, these virtuous qualities of a wholesome being and a happy life. And generosity shows up in a lot of different ways. Anybody who's here today practicing live is being generous to themselves. If you're practicing with this as a recording, also it's very generous to set aside some time to tune in. And often when we meditate, we're not focusing on any one specific thing at all, just interested in the way it is, the way the mind relates to the way it is. But sometimes it's helpful to focus on aspects of love, care, positive qualities. And so gratitude and joy are like that. So as we settle in, I'm going to begin reading a poem, and then throughout the practice time, I may drop a couple of other poems in there just for inspiration, just for helping us connect more tangibly to what we're grateful for. But let's start with gratitude for this time of practice and for the support that your body is receiving right now in whatever seat you've taken. Maybe take a couple deep breaths and notice how on the exhale, shoulders drop, belly relaxes, maybe your thighs can let go. If you're bracing yourself in your arms or shoulders, appreciating the power of breathing to help the body soften. You can close your eyes if that feels helpful in terms of tuning in, but you can also leave them open. That might feel safer. It might help you connect more to the present moment. And then I invite you to just tune in to the sounds that you can hear right now. That might include sounds in the outer environment. Like right now where I am, it's raining, so I can hear the rain fall. It might include sounds in the room you're sitting in, the clock ticking, or any other sounds in your home or the space you're in. Then there might be some sounds inside the body that you can hear. These are usually quiet or subtle sounds like the sound of the breath coming and going. Maybe you can hear as well as feel digestion. So appreciating the sense of hearing. You don't need to make a catalog or a list of all the sounds you can hear, but simply receiving, opening the ear door You could rest your attention right at your ears, right at the point where the sound waves enter. And just recognizing that, like everything else, sounds are impermanent. They come, they stay for a while, they go. There's so much in our ordinary lives that we take for granted. We forget to remember to really taste the coffee, see the flower blooming, appreciate the comfort of the favorite chair or sofa, these ordinary things. So we can start by appreciating the good, ordinary things in our lives, and I will share this poem about that. It's called The Patience of Ordinary Things. It was written by Pat Schneider. It is a kind of love, is it not? How the cup holds the tea, how the chair stands sturdy and foursquare, how the floor receives the bottoms of shoes or toes, how soles of feet know where they're supposed to be. I've been thinking about the patience of ordinary things, how clothes wait respectfully in closets, and soap dries quietly in the dish, and towels drink the wet from the skin of the back, and the lovely repetition of stairs. And what is more generous than a window? So as we settle into this contemplative practice of what's good, bring to mind something that you've recently appreciated or an experience you've recently had, just in the past few days perhaps, of something physical, tangible, and ordinary. Your favorite mug, the way your Thanksgiving dinner tasted, how it felt to hug a relative or be hugged. Maybe just the most ordinary thing about anything in your home that you've experienced. Just bring these good things to mind. And again, like sound, we don't need to strive to collect a list of good, ordinary things. Just see what arises for you. Choose one for the next minute or so to really hold in awareness. One thing you appreciate that brings you satisfaction or happiness. And as you hold this ordinary thing that's good in your heart mind, noticing how it feels. What senses connect you to this good ordinary thing? Is it how it looks? Can you appreciate what you see when you look at this thing? Is it tactile? Does it feel a certain way in your hands if you hold it? Maybe it's something you heard. Maybe it's the radio station you listen to every day. Ordinary hearing. Notice how savoring this good ordinary thing through your senses brings joy, brings a quiet, warm, maybe it's bubbly, maybe it's quiet, but some good feeling, some sense of connection to the ordinariness of your life, for which you can feel grateful. Noticing how it feels to appreciate what is normally taken for granted or goes unnoticed. Let this warm, bubbly, appreciative feeling expand. See if you can locate it somewhere as a sensation in the body, in the heart space, or maybe in the belly. Maybe it's just an overall sense. You might feel something relax in the body as you hold in awareness this ordinary object or experience that you feel gratitude for. And knowing that gratefulness, knowing that appreciation as a sensory experience. Here's a poem by Mary Oliver called Mindful. Every day I see or hear something that more or less kills me with delight, that leaves me like a needle in the haystack of light. It was what I was born for, to look, to listen, to lose myself inside this soft world, to instruct myself over and over in joy and acclamation. Nor am I talking about the exceptional, the fearful, the dreadful, the very extravagant, but of the ordinary, the common, the very drab, the daily presentations. Oh, good scholar, I say to myself, how can you help but grow wise with such teachings as these? The untrimmable light of the world, the ocean's shine, the prayers that are made out of grass. Letting those words penetrate, settle, then perhaps dissipate, but leaving us with a sense of the extraordinary power of the ordinary, the drab, not the dramatic, but the day-to-day. Sometimes life brings us big events, huge moments of large joy, surprise, change, transformation. But most of the time, the vast majority of the time, joy, gratitude arises in these ordinary ways. And sometimes gratitude comes and joy comes through not our own direct experience of good things, goodness, things to be grateful for, but in witnessing someone else's happy moment, someone else's experience of joy or gratitude or appreciation. So now I invite you to bring to mind a time that you saw someone you know having a good experience. It might be fleeting, or it might be something where a friend calls you up with good news about something. Really anything that you can recall seeing or hearing from someone you know. Maybe over the Thanksgiving weekend, if you were with family and friends, you noticed a funny moment or a moment of joy, or someone really savoring what was being eaten, or someone was very happy about a football game, or really anything like that, where you were witness to someone else's joy and goodness. And just bring that moment or series of moments to mind now. See where you were when you heard or saw this person's joy and gratitude. See the room you were in or the environment. See this person as clearly as you can. Remember, were you sitting with them, standing, talking? Were they at a distance? And then remember what they said, what they expressed. How did it look on their face? And then how did you feel in proximity to this? What were the sensations of shared joy, appreciative goodness that arose in you? As you're remembering this experience of witnessing joy and gratitude, what are you noticing in your body right now? How is your body remembering this experience? Is it a little enlivening? Does your heart beat faster? Do you feel a warmth in your belly, in your heart? Maybe a smile comes to your face. Recognizing our capacity for gratitude and joy. And in that recognition, deepening the joy. We're training ourselves in this practice to recognize goodness and joy. Forgetting our capacity for joy is not a modern problem, apparently. Here is a little reflection from Hafiz, who lived a long time ago, who needed to be reminded of this capacity for joy as well. And he wrote, "I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy. My heart is too heavy. Heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance for life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O Sacred One, untangle my feet from all that ensnares. Free my soul that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious." So it seems to be part of the human experience to forget that we're created for joy, to dance the dance of life, so that it might be shared among us. A kind of contagion we would welcome. The virus of joy. As we practice touching into this innate capacity to appreciate goodness, which then leads to a sense of joy, don't worry if it doesn't feel big. Remember that practicing joy isn't a guarantee that there won't also be other feelings, other sensations, other experiences that are difficult, that require strength. Through the very practice that we're doing now, we build the capacity to balance out what's difficult with what's joyful and easy. So we'll continue in silence for a few more minutes and consider what all you are currently grateful for. Again, not to just make a laundry list, but to bring to mind things that you appreciate, and then rest in that awareness, rest in that sense of goodness. And as always, if your mind wanders and you lose that thread, not a problem. Just come back. Breathe in what's good and breathe out in joy. opening to sense this quiet, reliable goodness that exists within. This joy that uplifts, this gratitude that grounds us. I'm going to end with another poem by Mary Oliver that encourages us not to postpone this cultivation, this depth of joy that's available. This is her poem called Don't Hesitate. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give in to it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. So breathing in whatever joy is present for you now. If your eyes are closed, you can open them, lift your gaze, and we'll bring this gratitude and joy contemplation to an end. And I thank you for being here today. We meet every Wednesday at 12:30, usually only for about 15 or 20 minutes, not usually a whole half hour. Hope to see you here in the Zoom room, or next week we'll resume also live streaming in the Way Opens Community Facebook group. Have a great week. Enjoy.